In this video, we're going to talk about page design, the good, the bad, and the ugly of page design. Okay, you ask yourself as you look at this page, what could be better? Main thing to concentrate on here is that contrasting of colors. Notice how they put blue text on top of a green background. If I bring the color wheel out, you'll notice that blue and green are adjacent on the color wheel. Therefore, there is not much contrast in these two colors. You want your background and your text to contrast so that that text will pop off the page. So as I look here, the absolute opposite color of green would be in this hot pink area. Yellow looks okay too here because the green is so dark. If it was a light green, I don't think you could use the yellow. But I'm going to click on this blue text and I'm going to change it to this hot pink. And let's see what it looks like on that page. Looks a lot easier to read. And notice, let's check and see, this font is size 36, okay? Remember earlier I said don't use any font less than 28, okay? So let's talk about these words here. The students are going to put these words in alphabetical order, but let's see, they're size 20. They're too small. Plus, you have green on green. So the students, when this is projected with an LCD projector, and that's another thing you have to remember, may look okay on your computer screen when you're creating the lesson, but when you put it on that LCD projector, the colors are just a little bit different than what they normally are, okay? It's like blue on black, does not show up at all. So make sure your colors and get this text enlarged so that all the students can see it. Let's take these up to size 48 so that the students can really see them and manipulate them. Having a hard time stretching it out there. Okay, and then of course that color, I think I'm just going to change that color to white because I think it'll pop. The white will really pop on a dark background. Okay, moving on, here is that page redesigned. Okay, gives the students a place to put the words in alphabetical order. We have the directions tucked down under here. Okay, see that's just a little box tucked behind here so it doesn't waste our real estate of this page. We do have a little graphics you have to be, leery of. Make sure that the graphic is related to the lesson. In this case, it is. Notice the contrasting. They used white on top of green. So good change there. On this one, what could be better? We really need to tear this apart. Notice that the directions are written in the same color, size, font as the sentences. Really not a good layout here. It's hard to differentiate on this page. Real confusing, I think, for the students. The font is not bad. It's a good size on the font, and the letters are appropriate. The font is appropriate. So that part's not bad. But let's break it down a little bit. Here we're going to separate the font. Notice that we used a background color. Even if it's a pale color, it's better than a white background. Try to stay away from white backgrounds. I'm not going to say that you'll never use them, but try to stay away from them. Color holds the student's interest. So I've separated the directions, even drew a circle around the word circle, move the magic blue rectangle down to check your answer. So you can see that this is how they're going to check their answer. And you're going to learn how to do this later in this week's lesson. So spread it out. Remember how crowded that page was back there? So we spread it out into 2 pages. Ink pages are free. There's no charge for them, so you can use as many as you want. On this page, we have an image that has no relationship to this page whatsoever. Math problems were written in a terrible, terrible format. We would never write math problems in this format. They needed to be stretched out. They also are size 18, which is totally inappropriate. There are no directions. I'm going to infer that we're trying to make facts of 18, but again, the elephant has no relationship to this page whatsoever, so he is inappropriate. So change that lesson, made the math problems larger and in the correct format. This time the graphic relates to the directions. Draw an arrow to the target from any math fact that equals 18. So this is our target. 18 is our target, so you can see the relationship between the graphic and the activity. So the students would get an arrow, and when they pull this down, again, you'll learn how to do this. The answers are revealed. So there are where the arrows should be. And then we move into this. I don't know about you, but this hurts my eyes to look at that green on the red. Very difficult page. The teacher put this up for morning seat work. Impossible to read. Let's redesign that. Notice we did use a white background, but we put a border around it to give it some color, make it more interesting for the students. We differentiated inside. Here are the directions for the students. Just broke it up, very easy for the students to read. So for good page design, as you create your lessons from here on out, keep these things in mind. Make sure you use contrasting colors, but not too harsh. They should be readable. Make sure your font is a readable font. Stay away from those fancy fonts. You don't like your children putting, or your students putting dots and curlicues all over their letters when they write. So let's don't give them font that looks like that. Also remember the size should be larger than 28. Try to use a background whenever possible. Stay away from white backgrounds. And then use of the space, the white space, that's on the page, okay? Don't crowd it. You have plenty of room. New ink pages are free. And if you use animations or images, make sure they're interesting and not distracting. Those are the secrets to good page design. I will be watching for those as I evaluate your lessons in the future.